Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our fifth episode of our weekly chat with Heidi from the Mice Guru, covering the role of the DMC and how it's evolving. So, yesterday we had a couple of technical problems. I hope we will not have them again today because we just tested it. Here is Heidi. Let's hope it works and she can join us smoothly on the live so we can start. Hello!
Hey, good morning.
How are you?
Great, and you? Look how smooth that was.
I'm super excited for this topic, and actually I was 1 minute late on the chat because I wanted to do a story, so
Thank you for that extra promotion.
Yeah, and it was just a bit slow to load, and like, come on. Yeah, so hello everyone, we have some destination enthusiasts today, and we want to talk about destination marketing. So let's get straight to the topic. What is destination marketing?
Well, that's an easy one, right? Or it should be an easy one. It's the same as with any other product. It's promotion of the destination in any way or form. And that means, from our standpoint, mostly, first of all, promotion of trading and international relations, and then the leisure tourism, and then our more specific jobs and core industry of event profs in relation to MICE business, corporate clients coming into the destination to actually have their projects in your destination. So promotion in its wider term and in many different forms.
Yeah, so also digital and offline, what we do in MICE is often with the trade shows like IMEX, EIPTM, the smaller hosted buyer forums, and
yeah, and it includes all the players on the market.
Good. And who can do destination marketing?
Everybody, basically. If you look at it again in wider terms, as someone sitting on a beautiful beach in Norway eating strawberries is also part of the destination marketing. But what we need is more tailored marketing towards different audiences, different groups, different types of content, use different types of media to do it. So there's a very big difference there between CVBs and DMCs and different partners who actually are a part of the whole marketing strategy. CVBs do cater to a wider audience, so they will show their destination as a whole to a whole lot of people at the same time. You have representation companies that would work for CVBs or work for smaller regional convention bureaus or smaller destinations who work for DMCs for specific partners. So they will tune in a little bit more based on who they work for or who they represent, obviously. You have the DMCs themselves, who we will discuss this a little bit more today. A large part of our job is marketing the destination, and also a lot of influencers come into play. And content creators such as yourself, so people who basically spread the word about a destination. And then in the end, also not to forget, of course, clients are very important. People who have been there before, who have done successful things in the destination, and who are advising other people to go there or to do it or talk about it and refer to a destination they've experienced themselves.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the convention bureaus, they do general marketing to different markets, right? And we have a question here which I received in the question section. Can you give an example of how you would change content for different markets?
Yes, of course. I mean, we have all types of different MICE projects. So we would have, for example, a conference client, an incentive client. So what I bring out towards a conference client or that market segment would not be the same as the incentive market. If I want to reach out to conference planners or meeting planners, I want to show them a creative meeting design. I want to show them exciting venues in terms of conference referencing exciting new technologies they can use, and then everything around that. If I want to reach out to someone planning incentives, I want to focus more on the experiential aspect. I want to show them immersive experiences, where they can go, what they can do, how we can have a creative approach about it. So there's lots of different types of projects, and based on the different types of clients, I would specifically create content in that direction. So also events, ceremonies, product launches, etc. So.
And how about geographical markets? For example, when you have the UK market and the German market, would you approach them differently in terms of marketing?
Yes, less now, but in general communication, yes, because different markets have focus on different things, and the citizens of different countries have interest in different things as well. So it's a lot about the culture you work with. For example, some countries or some people are specifically interested in gastronomy. Another country or event planners community would have more interest in a party aspect of things. Other people are looking for infrastructure and efficiency and punctuality. I'm not naming any countries here, you know. So basically, there's different approach for everyone, but you have to make choices. So you cannot be creating content 24 hours a day and focus on every single difference and all those details between clients and source markets. You have to make some choices that will function for several ones of them at the same time.
Oh no, shaming the Germans.
I didn't name anybody, Kim. I love working with the German clients.
But you know what I find interesting, as you said, the key point, it's less important now. You said this sentence, and because we're all global, we're all connected, we're all online, and online you can actually reach all the markets. And interestingly, I still get from clients the question, okay, so where your audience from? Who registered to your online hackathon? Which markets? So I think it's something that needs to be communicated, educated in the market, because now it's less about the market segmentation and the fragmentation. Now we're kind of becoming very global.
Globalization.
Definitely. So it's a topic for another day. So when it comes to the promotion, and specifically, there are many players who promote the destination, influencers, representatives, convention bureau, etc. But when we just talk about the convention bureau and the DMC, what's the difference between the two when it comes to destination marketing?
Well, actually, it is the core job and task of a CVB to market the destination. That is what they do. Literally, they are not, in most cases, or are not supposed to monetize on the products that they are promoting. They are basically supported by the government. They are supported by their partners to educate and to market a destination in, as we said, many different ways, and that is their job, and that's where it ends. So basically, it is about the marketing for them. Destination management companies, their core job is project management and designing events and producing events. So in theory, destination marketing is not really their first priority, but in reality, it's about 80% of our job. So it's quite important, and that's where we have this misunderstandings, and it's still early on now, but you can see with the rise of more content creators and everything that's happening online, we need to educate also the CVBs and everybody around us to have closer collaborations, because it's very, very important. What we do on the DMC side has a tremendous value for the CVBs and for all other partners that they represent. So there needs to be like more of a communication there and more support between CVBs, DMCs, content creators. We need to all be working more closely together.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have, for us it's more targeted, right? There is such an overload of information. So
Yes.
a client, event planners out there in the world, they do not sit for 3 days on the CVB page to figure out all the possibilities and do so much research and check where they can go. And CVBs, they give out a very wide variety of information. Or they will give you lots of different partners you can get in touch with. But there is no time for that. So as a DMC, we can advise you specifically and inspire you specifically based on your needs and your type of project. So this is a very valuable addition to the marketing of the CVB itself.
And how do you work with your local CVB in Norway? And do you have any struggles? It's a question from Tina.
Well, Tina, we have a close collaboration, but there's always some difficulties, obviously, as in any country, and one of them is basically getting that support that I just talked about to be included in their marketing campaigns and to have a closer collaboration. But CVBs in most countries are organized in such a way that you pay your way in as a membership. So it's not necessarily, it's quite delicate. You are not certain as a client that you will be pointed to the person that is exactly right for you. You will be pointed to either a whole group of different people where you still don't know, okay, who do I pick out of this, or I need to contact all of them and then figure out who I like or what will work or where I will match. And then, partners who pay a share in the CVB, they obviously want to be represented the most, and that's the job of the CVB to do that. So that's.
Heidi, sorry to interrupt you. I have a question. What is a CVB? So CVB is a convention bureau. I'm very sorry that we are so general, but CVB is a convention bureau. Yeah. Now continue.
Yeah, so basically the struggle is, how do I put myself forward as a DMC within the CVB next to all other DMCs and all other partners, because we have in Norway, the different DMCs have very different approaches. So you would have people who are very, very traditional. You have people who work with specific topics like authenticity or smaller groups or more high-end or luxury. We are more of an innovative company with fresh concepts and ideas. That's also not the right match for everybody. I'm not saying I am best. I mean, people who are looking for things that are out of the box would choose another DMC, as people who want safety and do the same thing that they've been doing for many years. So for us, it's how do we promote ourselves within that network, which I find rather difficult, even though Norway has offices abroad in many countries that represent us. I don't necessarily get a huge amount of work out of that unless I participate in all of the events that they program and do, because that's the only way. Basically, you join in, you pay your share, you join in a networking session, and they would bring a number of hosted buyers, but I would have to pay for attending as a DMC, and then after that I would need to see what's the return. Then I might be able to have a follow-up again because of that participation. But in terms of marketing, it is always finding the balance again. You need to be a part of the CVB if you are any reputable company. You need to share in the marketing that they are doing towards the entire world, but also it is not for me the place where I get my business. It's about extra visibility, but my the biggest part of my business comes from my own marketing and direct marketing towards our our clients. But if we found more of those synergies and we could work closer together and really tailor media and content to different types of audiences, then that might actually change. We might become more of a team that gets results in, because for a CVB it's very difficult to measure results. They are the marketing in the beginning. They cannot necessarily show the things that have materialized after all the information they have given out. For us, it's very easy. We've done this. Okay, that client was there. They did a project with us. There is the result. Right? So if we bring all of these items together, it would be easier for everybody and more successful, I believe.
And do you organize fem trips together with the Convention Bureau or any other collaborations?
Yes, we do that occasionally with both destinations, the Convention Bureau, the national one, or a regional destination, but also with partners. So the last one I did, for example, was with two key partners, Nordic Choice Hotels and Norwegian Airlines.
And you can watch the video, Heidi. Maybe you can share the video afterwards.
Yeah, I can do that. That was in Oslo, a lot of fun. So basically, for me, it's also very nice to work with partners and have joint collaborations there. It doesn't necessarily have to be the CVB, but with projects like, for example, we have a MICE project every year called Meet in Norway, where we love to participate. And there's also destinations that want to promote the destination and usually work with the DMC to tailor the program for hosted buyers. So we do that occasionally as well.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. Thank you. And why is it important for you to promote the destination? Because you said that a lot of business comes from your own marketing activities. So I guess that part of it is promoting your destination. Why is it important to promote your destination alongside all the event planning that you do?
Well, actually, because our audience needs a better understanding of the destination. They need to understand possibilities and they need to get excited about them. And that's where we come in. We need to bring that excitement because they may already have a wider image of Norway or the destination in question. They have probably seen lots of beautiful pictures and videos, but general style images and media. And that's not enough. They need to see it first. They need to understand it better. And then they basically need to see how that works for them and their clients or their groups, and then almost experience it beforehand. That's very important. So we need to create like a tailored idea of what they can do for each client. Not how pretty things look or that we have fjords in Norway. Well, most people know that already. You can go visit this and that. That's basically the style of the general marketing. But our clients are not leisure tourists, and they don't want to feel as if they were. They want a different approach. They want a more tailored approach, and that's where we come in. We need to really dig deep and understand what they want, what their needs are, and then market the destination based on that.
And but I know that some DMCs are very secretive about sharing their venues and suppliers because they spend time and money sourcing their suppliers. So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, we do take a lot of care in research and evaluation and in networking with thousands of suppliers around the country, and that's a continuous process. That is something that is a big investment for us. So we need to constantly be there. We need to constantly update ourselves. We need to constantly be in touch with everybody and build those relationships and maintain those relationships and check out new places and be very well up to date and have the necessary knowledge. That takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. And it requires a level of knowledge to suggest the right venues to a client as well. So basically, for me, in the ideal world, a client respects that, right? So they come to you and you advise and you show them things, and then obviously they will work with you on the project. There are still people who try to go directly to the suppliers after that, after we've done all the work, also with presenting and pointing them in the right direction. But that's also actually a sad thing, because there's no advantage for them in there. There is just the misconception that they will save money, but they won't. First of all, they will not get it cheaper or get a higher commission out of it, because as we discussed before, you know, we have better rates and venues and suppliers want to work with local partners more, but also they will have a lot more work, and they will run into a lot more difficulties and issues and communication problems, or, you know, so it's always the same story.
And doesn't come back to you.
It doesn't, I mean, it's just a silly thing to do. It's basically the same in each industry. You get inspired and then you go and steal someone else's idea and do it yourself, you know. It's not the right thing to do, and hopefully it's something that will happen less and less, but it's still an issue. That doesn't mean that we don't want to be transparent. We like to share our venues and our ideas and our concepts, and also we have a very strong relationship with most of those venues. So basically it happens quite often that they contact us and ask, look, this person asked, I know this sounds very much like a concept you would come up with. I'm pretty sure that that person in New York didn't find us on the beach here in a small village in Norway on their own. Is that your recommendation? We try as much as we can also to inform venues that, okay, we're presenting you, we're promoting you, but sometimes, you know, there's so many projects and it's so fast paced that we don't necessarily always do that. But there is two sides to the story. I am very happy to be transparent and open and share everything, but respect the fact that I do that on the other end.
But what happens if the client does contact the venue and they just want this venue and they don't want the other services, and then you did the sourcing and then the client goes direct and the venue accepts the business because it's still business, but what happens then? Do you receive a commission from it, or what's
actually no. Basically, if we're not involved, we do not get any commissions anywhere. But it's also something that happens very, very rarely, because who needs only your venue and nothing else? In the end they will need us, and in most cases where they try to go directly after being in the process with us already from the beginning, they realize how difficult it is and they come back to us later, and that makes things even more complicated. But it happens a lot. I very rarely had the situation where a venue was booked directly without anything more. And I also know about cases where a client has been in direct contact pretty much immediately, because we have such nice relationships. We get informed even with other DMCs. If they have the same request and they believe that you have the same request, we will talk to each other. We'll be like, okay, what do you think? Are we going for this or not? If they've contacted literally everybody they can find in Norway, and there is no point in all of us investing our time and energy to do something. So then we agree there is enough business for everybody, and we try and help each other and be more colleagues than competitors.
That's very good. A comment from Rebecca: I agree, tailor-made programs are very important, but as a convention bureau we tend not to know what some DMCs do, as they don't share their infos, which is a shame.
Oh, that's of course very important. Definitely. Well, if they don't do it, then I advise you as the convention bureau to reach out to your DMCs and ask them to give you a more in-depth presentation of their work and specific types of projects that they've done before, so you get a great idea of the style of each DMC in your destination. So I don't know how it works in terms of partnerships for you, or if they are members members and pay a certain fee, or if you generally advise the DMC, all of the DMCs in your country. But it's very important that you understand them. And I've also had a little issue with that at some point, where I reached out to the CVB again and told them, look, we can do all of this and this and this, you know, please be aware of the fact that we do all of these things. So it's important to have that relationship and to understand each other.
Yeah. And now let's come to the meaty part of the talk and about the content creation, how to do the promotion itself. So when you do promotion for your destination, what type of content do you create?
Well, for me, it is definitely content that delivers an idea, mostly. Yeah. Basically, a combination of existing places or products in a destination, but with a twist, like a concept or an idea behind it. So it is valuable to my client. I will definitely try to understand their mindset. And from my perspective, I am not trying to push one specific place or one specific venue. It's very important to us that we first really understand the client and that we then create something that is based on them, rather than creating something we want to sell. Like, you know, of course we want to sell everything in our destination, but you cannot be aggressive about that. It is up to the client to decide what they feel comfortable with and what matches their identity, and that's just our responsibility to have that understanding of what they want and where they want to go, and to not use copy paste products, to not send them pre-designed itineraries of where they should go. That's not why they contact a DMC in the first place. In the MICE industry, you know, people have higher expectations than that, but unfortunately, there's still a lot of DMCs and partners who try to work that way. For me, it's more about content that inspires and is really based on what can work for that specific client or that specific audience.
Yeah. And so how do you keep your content organized? You go on site visits, you take photos, you take videos, and then you come back, you need to send it to the client. How do you keep it? Do you keep it per destination, per date, per month? How do you?
I would love to have you answer that question. So please do that. But you know, for me, there's been such a rapid evolution now in the different types of content that we have. So before it would have been project based, not necessarily. I'm not a content creator. That's not my job actually, but it has become a bigger part of my job. So my organization is based on projects, based on clients, per client, per project. When it comes to the content that I've created now for social media, I need to really figure out how to do that best, because now it's still a little bit everywhere. I have stuff on Google Drive, on Dropbox, in folders, video folders, media files, based on destinations, based on concepts, ideas. I mean, there needs to be more structure to it. So please advise me.
But now with all the changes, actually, there is a potential for you to organize your content actually per destination and not just per client, because now you will be promoting your destinations online. From my side, I organize also per project. So I do have a photo album for each client. And for me, it's different what I do for the client and what I do for myself. So for the clients, it's always very tidy and very organized with the photo album. And I do a lot from the mobile. So it's important for me that all this, all these links and all these albums I will be able to access from the mobile. So I would have on my notes on the iPhone, I have all the links to each single client album, which I've done. And then if I want to post something mobile, I will know where to find this specific photo. Then when it comes to to producing kind of content at scale. And then this I would really do from home, from my PC, and I use Canva. And I have the paid version of Canva because it has more functionalities, more templates, and also more storage. So on the paid version of Canva, you can also create the albums. So as soon as I have the client album on SmartMag, then I would upload the photos on Canva, and then these photos I will kind of order on each template that I want, and then all these templates again I have saved on Canva. So this is kind of all online tools which I use just to know where to find the photos. It's very important, and it keeps it very quick and efficient.
Definitely.
So mobile first, and when producing content at scale, like a nice template for the stories, then usually we do it from the computer.
Again, it's also about better routines, I guess, because right now I use too much time in finding the right stuff, and it's because when it's not organized. First of all, client projects, that's great, but I don't necessarily always remember in the first seconds which clients. I remember I did a project like 2 years ago, which was awesome and very, very good to present at this point. But which client was it again? You know, like you need to have several links into your content, and also to bring it all together from mobile or from the PC. I still haven't found what's really right for me. For you, it's obviously different in terms of what you do with your content later on than for me. So I'm still trying a couple of things, and I hope towards the future that we can work more closely together, and I will have someone else do that.
Exactly. I will know where to find all your projects and photos. And so you have your content, your visuals, you went on the site visit, or you have your past photos from projects. So what type of visual content would you include in your presentations where you pitch to the clients? Do you prefer having your original images, which for me that's always the case when I work with a client? I would prefer my personal images over them sending me theirs. And then do you prefer professional photos, or you're okay with mobile photos? So what visuals go into your pitches?
Yeah, first of all, my presentations are very, very visual. So, and that's how they should be, I believe, these days. Not too much text, not too much description. That's things you can discuss in detail later on. But if you're pitching and you're doing an initial presentation, then it has to be very appealing. And we do that by being extra visual. So for me, it's a lot of pictures. It's a lot of videos, much more video now than I used to use. Also, in general presentations, like a seminar about what we do, I would include lots of video elements, and it has to be fast-paced and catchy.
Would it be your video or from the venue?
Yes, so basically a combination of the two, but I believe that these days it's more and more important to share your own stuff. People are not looking for manicured videos or pictures of a room that is wonderfully, perfectly styled and embellished and photoshopped. They want to see what it really looks like, and preferably with you there at this, like in the same type of scenario, or literally a video that you are making from your phone and showing your audience. But I will also use a lot of video material that is professionally designed and images that are professionally made during our events, because it's also about our events and it's about our ideas and concepts that we've created, and then we obviously want to show them in the best way possible. I'm not saying that you should only share handheld photo films of places, but I think a combination of the two works very well. I'm not
I like it.
I'm not a very big fan of using the professional pictures of suppliers because they often look too good, or it doesn't show the actual reality of it. Or like if you go on a website, okay, it looks pretty, but I'm not sure. I need to have more emotion in what I communicate, and that's where you, for example, do a great job. I mean, if you create content, you tell a story, and you make it about so much more than just what you're looking at. So these are wonderful elements to include in presentations.
Yeah, and I know that you have a very good photographer, Harvard, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so do you hire him sometimes and say, you know, I have this client pitch, can you come and make a video for me? So does it, like, it increases your pitching costs? Does it happen?
Yes, more now than before. But it's usually, well, we've done lots of videos both on client request and also without client request, where we actually want to have it just for ourselves. And what we are trying to do is also involve him, or, you know, content creators, media companies, in designing marketing materials that would benefit us and the destinations or our partners, and find that collaboration there, and you know, and increase the knowledge about the advantages of going for that specific content.
Okay, so if anyone from the audience has a question, please let us know, because we have 2 questions left, and then we'll be wrapping up the chat. So, and now the last 4 months were very intense, and you worked a lot on producing content, and you've done an incredible job. And what were your learnings from what are the learnings from these past months?
Well, I knew before that content is valuable, but I've realized even more now that you can get so much results out of delivering the right content at the right time on the right channels. And I've learned that we really, as we discuss now, really need to work more closely together and discuss this topic with our CVVs, and also educate them about the value of what we are doing, about the value of content, and how it is a necessity to create content that is relevant to more specific markets, and in our case towards the MICE industry, because most CVVs are focusing on the general marketing and on tourism as a whole. There is very little content that is created specifically for the MICE world, and it's often repurposed content that they have from the leisure market, and it doesn't quite hit the spot, or it's just not exactly right. So it's important that they understand that we need that content, and that it is valuable to work with DMCs and content creators to expand on their marketing and to have those synergies. So that's a very important learning, and definitely something I'm pushing for now in this period, because once we all go back to general event production, you know what is going to happen. Nobody will have time to create that content anymore, and definitely nobody is going to do it for free. So that's a huge value and huge potential that will be lost if we don't, you know, make a plan now and make it work through collaborations, and invest also financially in it.
And now then let's come to the ROI, our last question. You know what type of ROI you receive from going to a trade show, and you know what type of ROI you receive from a hosted buyer event. So how it compares to social media activity and content marketing?
Hey Herman, cheers to you. Well, actually, before Corona, things have changed a lot. Before Corona, we would receive most of our requests after several meetings on fairs, or several encounters, whether it be on a hosted buyer program, but then you meet again somewhere at a networking event or on a fair. Usually after several times of actual face-to-face communication. Now I can see that there is much stronger relationships evolving out of this virtual communication and virtual connections that we have going on. So the online networking has become so much more important in the recent few months than it was before. But we have to remember also that's because everybody has more time, right? So I'm expecting that we will not be able to have video chats all the time again later on either. We cannot constantly promote ourselves or present ourselves or talk about our destinations for an hour every day with clients, because nobody will have the time for it. But I can see that now, after Corona, we will need a combination of both. People have a different set of expectations now. They've gotten used to getting these virtual presentations, and they realize, okay, I don't necessarily have to go there every single time. My network is supporting this person or this company. I feel that I can trust them. So a lot of my job can be done virtually, right? So they will also need to find a balance between what needs to be done by face-to-face and what can be done on social media or even just on the Zoom video call or whatever. So it'll be again about finding a new balance after Corona. The two. I think for me now, the presentations that I've done and the seminars I've done virtually have been so much more effective than actually networking on the fairs. It's an absolute necessity to be present on those fairs. The key ones, the most important ones. But it takes a longer time. And again, it's about feeling overwhelmed with all of the information you get at the same time. So you cannot expect as one DMC or even one destination to get all of the business immediately, because the people who come and talk to you are talking to 50 other people and 50 other countries. But if you have an online event and online communication and you talk to each other and get to know each other, you might actually have immediate solid leads coming out of that. Like even now, people I'm talking to, or during the digital festival, there are people like, oh my God, like we love what you do there, and Norway is so great. Like let's talk more. Can we like have some more information? And then we start discussing it more, and a nice project comes out of that. So it's definitely very valuable to do it online as well, and people will have a better understanding of it because everybody's been in the virtual world, and they've been.
And I must add that you put in the work. It doesn't come just naturally that you put out a webinar and people are interested in Norway. You do a webinar, you do a live, you do social media posts, you do a follow up on LinkedIn. So it is a lot of work, I think, to do the online stuff, but it definitely pays off because you show how visible and active you are, and
it looks easy, right?
Yes, here I am. Yes, well, how can I help you?
It looks very easy, right? It looks easy to anybody. Oh, look, fun, and just go online for like a half an hour and talk a little bit. But there's a lot more to it, and I spend my entire days now basically planning on how to market ourselves and how to reach out to people, and designing the actual content and doing something with it and sharing it. That's really a full-time job, and a job that is basically your job that I'm doing for myself at this time in this period where I have the chance to do that. But when we get back to actual project work, I will have less time available to do that myself.
Yeah, so maybe I can help you then. And we have a question from Tina. How to convince a convention bureau that it's also worth looking into the incentive market and not only into the congress and conference market? Any advice from a DMC point of view?
Well, numbers. There is very, very, very little material and available and analysis based on the incentive market. That's generally the case in most destinations. I believe it's the same for Norway. But to just communicate the value of it in the right way, because an incentive is often much more valuable than a conference. So an incentive participant might have a higher cost per person, or a higher spend per person than a conference delegate. So it's important to point that out. And also in terms of volume, like if you're talking Congress and they're focusing on association and Congress, fine, we see that there is great value in that, but it's also very long-term projects. So to get one of those projects, you need to work for several years with a team of people. You need to travel a lot. You need to do a lot of meetings. You need to involve all the industries. It's a lot of a much bigger investment as well. So if you can demonstrate that the incentive market is faster paced, has shorter delivery time from request to production, and that you have a higher volume, even if they concern smaller groups. If you have many groups, that is the same equivalent as a large congress. So it's something that unfortunately is, well, it is known to the CVBs, but they did not yet prioritize it, because they can also not prioritize everything. They need to make certain decisions based on the budgets that they get, and then they go in a certain direction. But the corporate market with incentives and the mid-size events are definitely equally important, to say the least, to the Congress market. So communicate it over and over and over again, and show them examples, show them what the budgets are, what the spend are, and also how the incentive market attracts different kinds of Congress clients to your destination, because they get inspired by what they see. They get inspired by what they hear in their from their corporate colleagues that have done something with you, but they also get inspired by the type of activities that they see and that they could possibly offer as a social program during their conferences.
And are you a member of SIDE, by the way?
I'm not an active member at this time, actually.
To those who don't know, SIDE is the Society of Incentive
Travel Excellence.
Yeah. So just a society for incentives. So you're not a member?
Well, I am actually a passive member. I have been a member in the previous years, but I haven't really been active now this year. So I don't have an active membership as per right now, I believe. But it's a very, very valuable organization.
Maybe so possibly through the association that can be like the joint power and the voice of an association, maybe can prove the value to the convention bureaus, I think.
Yeah. Definitely, and they do a lot of great stuff. I mean, SITE is amazing in terms of resources. You can learn a lot from being a part of the organization. Definitely.
And we have a question from Naomi. I would like to hear thoughts on this. Many event companies who have planned a live event have now pivoted to virtual events, but are using live event images, very true, in their marketing for a virtual event, and even showcasing the destination of where the live event was meant to be taking place when the event is virtual. Doesn't seem to be right in my mind. What are your thoughts?
It is not right, that's true, but it's also because of a lack of existing content. So everything has to go very fast now. So those companies are trying to encourage their clients to come and do their virtual events anyway, but they haven't necessarily done a virtual event yet in that place or that location to show you what the reality of it is or what it looks like. So I think it's okay that they try to promote it in a different way, but you have to communicate very clearly on the site, because everybody knows that the rules and regulations are different, and it will look different if it's a virtual event.
Yeah, I can give an example of our e-conference, which is happening end of August in Bern in Switzerland. It was supposed to be a live conference, but due to the situation, it will not take place in its planned format, but we will still be in Bern, and we will have the destination backdrop for our online sessions. So we will be promoting the destination.
You will be there. Is it a hybrid event, or is it just you who is there and then?
So it will be Sabrina and I. We will have our demise exchange there at the venues, and which we actually planned for the real conference, and the second day of the conference I will have speakers dialing in remotely, and I will interview them in my little studio in Bern, like we're doing now, but I will be in Bern. So
Great.
that's how we decided to pivot. So I will promote the destination as the destination of the live event, like the online event, but the hybrid event. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, that's cool. That's exciting.
Yeah, that will be again a new format which we are going to try after the hackathon, the digital festival, and now this e-conference. Mm-hmm. And we have a comment from Rebecca, 360 Scotland. Comment for Tina, next year site is planning their global event in Ireland. Maybe you can approach them to host a post or pre-fem trip in Scotland. Contact Elliot Grant, president of site. So yeah, I love how we share contacts and network this way, because I think that's
definitely. Yesterday we talked about the collaboration Scotland, Norway, Italy.
Yeah,
I'm up for it. Let's do it.
Yeah, okay, so we are wrapping up now. That's all for today. I hear that the topic of incentives is of great interest, and therefore tomorrow that's our main topic. We will talk about how to, and I forgot the topic. No, but it's about incentive. How
the
to
ultimate incentive
the ultimate experience. Yeah. Excellent. So tomorrow it will be the ultimate experience, how to organize the ultimate incentive experience. Yes, that's the topic. So thank you everyone for watching. It was great fun again, and your comments and your questions. If you
keep creating good stuff.
Yeah, really very practical. That's how I like it. So yeah, so tomorrow, same place, same time, new topic. So we'll see you tomorrow, and have a good afternoon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.